Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Good morning, everybody. My name is Matt McHale, also known as Matt GPT, here on Clubhouse. We come here every day, Monday through Friday, to share lessons and teach and everything else. So I'm going to have my boy G do a little room reset for us, and then I will get started.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Breakfast with Champions. We are live on Clubhouse starting at 4 a.m. Eastern with our expert hosts who provide motivation, education, and inspiration to help you live your best life and grow your business. Be sure to continue the conversation with us on the Facebook page. As we step into Q3 on this bright July 1st, let's harness our collective energy and creativity to push boundaries and achieve our goals. Remember, every challenge we face is an opportunity to innovate and grow stronger together. Let's make this quarter our most impactful yet, driven by passion, dedication, and a relentless pursuit of excellence.
Thank you, G. A little more encouraging than normal because that was all AI, the second paragraph. I went in and said, give me a couple sentences on encouraging for starting out Q3 and on July 1st. So welcome to July. Happy July, everybody. Happy Q3. And kind of wanted to do that because I'm going to talk a lot about the voice of AI here today in my segment. But up first, let me talk about Claude. And, I talk a lot about Claude, especially the last few weeks. It is my favorite large language model. So even over ChatGPT and Gemini and everything else, when I'm using it for mostly what I use large language models for, Claude is the best there. So they had an update a few weeks ago. I talked about this last week, how they have become across the board, when you look at all the different ways that large language models can help us, they become the best large language model out there, according to the survey. Now this past week, they released projects. And what projects are, if you're familiar with ChatGPT and the GPTs, similar to that. But you can upload data, you can put documents in there, and the project will continue to build on all previous and current information that you have in there. So if you start a project and say, hey, I want to start a project on storytelling, and you put up some things up there and here's some lessons I learned, some things I went through, as you continue to go back to it, and you can also put in custom instructions in there. As you continue to go back to it and build on it, it's going to remember that information and build on that project and learn from all the information you do, and then use the custom instructions to continue with that project. So it's kind of like GPTs, but a little more to it and a little more in there. So, and this is something you can share projects with team members. So if you're building together and having something with team members, you're able to share it with them and do this project together. A knowledge base size for a project is about 30 megabytes. So it doesn't matter if it's a document or just putting text up there, whatever it is. Right now, the max size is 30 megs. I am sure they will increase that over time, but that's a lot of information you can put into that project. And they've updated the UI on Claude. If you use it, when you go in now, you'll see it's completely different than it was before. And one of the things, it's very easy to jump into a project. So if you're using a project, you can see it. You can jump right back into a project that you're working on, as well as some other hotkeys and things they put in there to update the user interface. So Claude continues, as all the other large language models do, continues to innovate and continues to bring these things to it. So if you're using it, again, if you haven't tried Claude out, and again, I always talk from a marketing standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint, from putting together content, it is the best large language model out there. So I encourage you to at least check it out and see what you want to use. But that being said, Google also has the updates. So Gemini 1.5 Pro has a 2 million context window. So to put that into words, it would be 1.5 million words, input and output. That's more than the Harry Potter book series all put together. So the context windows, what used to be, when these large language models first started, and one of the tougher things is putting too much information in there. That is certainly going away now. We're seeing that, and that's why I said, at some point, Claude, the projects will obviously get bigger as time goes on. We're seeing more and more capability around the context and uploading that. So that was a big update from them. Also, Gemma 2 is now available. So this is more for researchers and developers, and it's a really good interface with our AI tools and bringing together data and being able to use it in this open model standard. So they've increased the performance and the cost savings. There's obviously a cost to it when you're using the different system interfacing with other systems and the speed of it across. So that's something you're going to compare Gemma to Llama 3 or Grok and looking at those things and from the benchmarks that sounds like someone's eating potato chips there. Dr. Tangi. I'm going to mute Dr. Tangi. Oh, there we go. Thank you. So from that, looking at across the board and looking at the way they benchmark all those, Gemma 2 has done the best with all of those and all those updates. Another thing that they're doing is adding 110 new languages to Google Translate. They're using AI to add 110 new languages to Google Translate. So now AI is teaching AI. Which we've talked about a lot, and how this is kind of the precursor to the self-awareness and eventually AI taking over the world and destroying all of us. But they're using AI to teach AI, so they're including Cantonese, NKO, Tamazight, so a lot of different languages that haven't been in really any other systems at this point. So if you remember when the internet started coming out, the World Wide Web, and talking about how it's going to help people across the world, the problem was the at-one access to it. Obviously, still an issue in AI, but a lot of limitations as far as accessibility for languages and other things that went in that. We talk a lot about accessibility for hearing impaired or vision impaired people, and how they have to interact with different systems, and how AI is going to be helping with that now. So the fact that they're now able to use AI to add 110 new languages, that's a pretty big deal. One more thing from Google Updates. If you use Gmail, Gemini will now be in the side panel of Gmail, and they're rolling that out now. Now it's only going to roll out to people using the pro versions and other things. The business enterprise, education Premier add-on, and the Google One AI Premium, which I actually use the Google One AI Premium. I haven't seen this roll out yet, but like everything else, it will roll out to everyone eventually. But right now, they're rolling it out to those users to put Gemini right in the side, so that will be able to interact with your Gmail with all your mail in there, and you can go in and have it read, unopened email or summarize emails and all those things that'll AI will be able to do. You'll be able to have that now within your Gmail. Time. I feel like every week there's a new partnership from OpenAI, but Time and OpenAI has announced a strategic partnership for all of the information. So I keep talking about this large language models. They are running out of information to use. Obviously, there's a number of lawsuits, New York Times versus OpenAI being one of the big ones, where they're using information that's out there to train the large language models. So now OpenAI has gone around and created partnerships. Mostly they're doing a partnership where, hey, we can use your data and we will help you to be able to use your data better. So we'll give you our tools for free. You give us our data for free. So no money exchanging hands, but both companies get benefits out of it, and then they can use that now to train more of these large language models and to put that in there. Also, speaking of Time and 11 Labs, so the room reset, what Jay do every week, that is 11 Labs, and they've been a leader in the AI voices and that text to speech, and they're now partnering with Time as well to have an audio feature for all of the articles that go in there. And this is kind of how it'll sound once you start going to Time.
Time plus 11 Labs. 11 Labs team. Time and 11 Labs partner to accelerate the creation of audio accessible content. By 11 Labs team in case studies. Audio future.
So it's a pretty simple voice. It's one of the ones we've been hearing for a while, kind of a basic one that not too exciting, but I think it's time, and I don't think they want to be too exciting and moving into that. For everyone in Clubhouse, I do have a question for you. Do you recognize this voice? Now, this recording is going to be a little hard to hear. It's an older recording, but let me know if you recognize this voice. You can put in the chat, or you can unmute and let me know.
11 seconds. You've got 10 seconds. The countdown going on right now. Trump.
No, it was not Trump. Good guess though.
Miracle on Ice. I
yeah.
can't remember the announcer. Was it Jim McKay?
Very close. That was the Miracle on Ice, and that was Al Michaels.
Al Michaels.
Al
Oh, my
Michaels. Thank you, John. Yes. So Al Michaels, back in the day when U.S. hockey beat the Russians, that wasn't even the gold. You know, a lot of people look back on that, think about that. They did win the gold. That wasn't the gold medal match. But again, this is when we did not have pro athletes, and they were going up against the Russians, who were by far the best team, and were able to beat them. So a very exciting time and one of the best calls of all time. But now we have the Olympics coming up. So Peacock has decided to use that voice to be able to give custom updates to people who are going to be wanting updates from the Olympics.
Hi, Kelly. Welcome to your daily Olympic recap, your personal rundown of yesterday's most thrilling Olympic moments.
So it's 100%
Since you're
AI.
a swimming fan, let's head right to the pool. Team USA secured a stunning victory in the men's 4x100 meter medley relay, smashing the world record. Over at the diving venue, Krista Palmer showed.
So that is a 100% AI update that can be customized based on the sports you want to watch and the things you're interested in. Obviously, using the great voice of Al Michaels, one of the ones who has called lots of sporting events. So it's one of those things where, you know, now that can live on over time. That can live long past Al Michaels if they decide to, and you know his estate can continue to be paid for his voice. And that is one thing that's cool, but it also can be a problem. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute, where that is going to take away some people's jobs and things that they do. One more thing, or a couple more things on the voice. So OpenAI, if you saw the demo, they had a really cool voice, something really good that was in there. And they we're going to release that in June. Now they're saying, well, we need a little more time, probably end of July. So they're talking about June. Now it's end of July. But some people have gotten into it, and this is a Reddit user, Razi the creator, created something custom within that. And they got a little feedback that wasn't so positive. They kind of copied the voice of her, which is Scarlett Johansson. They tried to get her to do it, according to the rumors, and she said no. And then they had a voice come out that sounded really close to hers, which they then removed that voice. But this voice, I honestly think sounds even better.
All right, I got you, Razi. So picture this. There's this small town, right? Real quiet, everybody knows everybody kind of vibe. Now there's this old abandoned house at the end of the street that everyone says is haunted. Kids dare each other to go there, but most just run away before they even get close. One night,
so you can hear some sound effects come into
thunder,
the AI.
lightning, the whole shebang. A couple
won't play the whole clip for you, but if you want to go on that link at the top there, I have a link directly to the Twitter post that was sharing that. It's about 1:18, and it goes into sound effects, goes into more and more. But I never thought we'd get to a time where I was more confident in a computer-generated voice than the voice of our commander-in-chief, but that's a whole other story. But these voices keep getting better and better, and are pretty amazing, the things that you can do with it now. Another thing from 11 Labs, they're introducing a reader app, so you can listen to anything on the go using any of their voices. And again, with 11 Labs, you can create your own custom voices. So you could put your voice in there. You could go back and record all of Adam's segments that he did on here and upload those, and then you have Adam reading back things to you. So you can use really any voice that you want to on 11 Labs at this point, and be able to use that and use that for that reader, and be able to put all the text in there that you want. So if you're driving, you can create your own audio apps and audio things to listen to as you're going through that. One last thing, and I've talked about this before, Character.ai. And they have a character that's like Elon Musk. They have a character that sounds like different actors or different Einstein character. So they have all these different characters you can interact with. Obviously, when it first started, it was text based, and you go in there and you would type it in. Now these characters, they put voices to them. So not only can you do that on your computer, you can actually on your phone call a character and talk with an AI avatar over the calls. So Character AI has now gone as far as creating calls. So if you want to do that and call and talk to a character and get some things off your chest, go right ahead and do that. So those are all the really cool things. Now, some of the negative, and we talked about this before, is AI taking away jobs? And the Wall Street Journal had a really good article where it talked about AI doesn't kill jobs, ? Tell that to freelancers. So the freelancer market has unfortunately seen AI's effect on a lot of things that they have done. So if you're familiar with websites like Fiverr or other things where you can hire people to do voiceovers, you can hire people to do any kind of Photoshop, anything that you need as far as that goes. Those things have seen a decline in that work. So anything from basic writing, coding, translating jobs, all those, up to a 21% drop in job postings on platforms like Upwork and Fiverr. So these are platforms that people go out to. They would, put a post up there. So if you're looking for that, you're able to hire them to do that. Freelancers represent 38% of the American workforce as of 22. So this is a pretty big amount of people that AI is starting to affect directly as we go through that. So in the article, there was a concept artist, Reed Southern, who is a concept artist for major films, saw income went in half in 2023. AI tools like Midjourney replacing early stage concept work. So you would have someone working through all these things. So I use that example all the time. Like, this is where you can build out the base. You can go through and figure out the things that you want to do, and you can easily do that working with that. Well, in the past, someone would get paid to do that. You would hire someone to help you with that, and now AI can do a lot of those things. So this is where we're starting to see some of this data and all that. So some freelancers in data science and IT are seeing a 40% income increase now because of working with this and going through some of these things and seeing that. So we're definitely seeing a drop in certain areas. In other areas, we're seeing it come up. So it's going to be interesting as you go along. But I say this all the time, and I think with AI learning, I think the best example I can talk about, especially when I was looking at the Olympic trials and watching this, I was thinking about where athletes are today versus 20, 30 years ago because of sports medicine, because of what they can do and understand their bodies better and go through these things and try to use the different systems and the different things that are available to push their bodies to its limit. And they're able to do that. So we see people breaking records all the time because they can recover quicker. They can go through this. They can train better. It's the same thing with AI. This is where we're at right now. You have all these tools available to you. You have all the ability to do this, to do things that would take you much longer before you can do faster, to do things you couldn't do yourself. You'd either have to hire somebody or you just couldn't do it. Now you can do those things. So this is where I talk about, we have the large language models you can go to and certainly help you with this. You also have these precise models that can help you do something specific. So one of the things as we look about when we're trying to do these things and learn more and do anything, when we look at how people learn, and there's a reason why school had quizzes and we went through tests and do all those things. And I know we like to get away from that once we're out of school, but that is a great way to learn, especially a subject that you want to learn and learn faster and comprehend it and understand it and keep, retain the information. Quizzes is a great way to do that. And that's one of the things you can use AI. So this is Revisely as the system right here I'm showing and going through for Clubhouse. You can't see this, but what this is I uploaded a bunch of information on a DISC profile. If you're familiar with DISC, that measures DISC, the different personality traits for people. And this goes through, there's 30 questions now. So I uploaded everything on DISC, what DISC is, what it means, how you interact. And it gave me back a quiz of 30 questions. So going through that and having that information there, but then taking this information, taking these things that you want to learn and you want to get better at, upload them into a system like this and start to use that to help you learn and retain this information over time is a great way to do that. I mean, and you can just do this right in, a ChatGPT or something like that. But I said, these smaller systems can help you do that. They're more efficient a lot of times, and they have it down to more precisely to what you want to get done. So A couple more things I want to talk about, just marketing, when we're going through that, and I'll open up any questions or comments. But I talked about this article last week as well, how AI will reinvent marketing, and Andrew Chen does a great job of going through and talking about first order versus second order. And what does that mean? So first order is, you have infinite variations of ad and creatives content. So that's what I was talking about, where you had these freelancers before. Now you can go into a large language model and have infinite variations. Say, just keep building, give me this more, build more on that, or change it this way, as much as you need to, and go through until you have something you're happy with. You have cost reductions in creating video, audio, and other content forms. Like I said, you have 11 Labs, you have all these other things that in the past you had to, hire somebody to do voiceover. You had to hire somebody to build these videos. Now we have these systems out there for us. Embedded ads with AI-driven responses. So again, if you click on that link at the top, I put up a couple prompts in there too. So one, a really good prompt is, I'm looking for a Facebook ad copy that will use influence and reach, and then you put in influencer type, showcase unique features and benefits of my, put in your product or service and you put in who your ideal customer persona is, and encourage them to make a purchase. Then that can build those ads. So again, experts, that you would hire in the past to do all these things, you can now do with AI. So that's all the, and streamlining creative process using generative AI, going through all that. So that is that kind of first order. That second order, when we get into this and talk about this, we have infinite labor. AI transforms capital into various types of labor, allowing for unprecedented scalability in tasks like design and project management. So again, this is where you have this, this $20, system that you're paying for, that can do the job, and it can do it to an extent where it can replace people. And we've seen companies and people doing that. So it's a matter of understanding where these things are going and putting your skill sets and putting yourself out there to make sure that you are not, caught up in that process of where you can be replaced by AI. I say all the time, you can't be replaced by AI, but maybe the things that you're doing and the level of skill that you're bringing to the table right now, it could be, and that's why you have to, be aware of this, understand this, kind of work through these things, and understand not only, what these systems are, how they work, why they work, but find precisely how it's going to affect your industry, and how you can use those to your advantage, So, because we also have the infinite content, again, so net zero cost leads to, to be able to personalize and real-time updates based off of user sentiment, based on going back and getting feedback and creating new content and going back and forth as much as you want. There's no limit to that. There's no, you could have these systems working on stuff overnight. So when you wake up in the morning, like, hey, well, yeah, there's all the stuff I wanted to work on, and it's there. So you can, multiply, the time you can spend and the information that you can put into there. So I've got about 5 minutes left. So I just wanted to open it up to see if anybody has any questions or any thoughts about that. I would love to know, is your company using AI? How have they been using it? Have you seen an increase over the last year or so? Nobody's company's using AI.
I use, this is John. I use AI all the time to speed up the process for things. Because I'm not a great writer. I'm more of the spoken word. I do better with that.
Yep.
I also use 11 Labs a lot for voiceover for commercials.
Yeah.
I put script in it, and it works great. Especially accents, because I don't do voices. It doesn't work well. The one thing you did say is, and I'm going to put my spin on it, Fiverr, Upworks, they say that there is a drop in freelance work. And I'd say part of that is because they have priced themselves out of the market.
Yeah, certainly. Fiverr certainly not just $5 now. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that has become a thing where we've seen increases in some of these freelancers and their time, but like anything else, over time, the cost increase, all these other things, but the whole point of Fiverr was to be able to spend $5 to get something, and you have that one project, someone does really well on that, and then you're able to use them on future projects and kind of build that relationship. That was the idea when it first came out. And obviously, like anything else, it kind of changed over time, and certainly people started charging more and doing more things on there. So, but yeah, we'll continue to see these transformations. Obviously, in the marketing world, and some of these things that it's easy to understand how to do it. But I was driving by someone's house the other day, and I saw they have one of the robot lawnmowers where you get the lawnmower, you train it on the size of your lawn and where it goes, and then it knows how to cut your lawn, and it just he just hits a button and it goes out there and cuts the lawn, and that's done. So we're not too far away, and the technology is there when we look at cutting lawns or gardening or these things that you hire people for. The technology is already there to be able to do that. ChatGPT, you can take a picture, upload GPT, and say, what things do you recommend here, or what's wrong with this bush, or those, and it can give you feedback on all that stuff. So we're just a robotic engineer or two away from being able to have the robots to do it. But the technology, the AI, the intelligence is all there. It's just a matter of having something to do these things and go through the movements that would take to do the work. So as you go through and start to look at this, just be aware of that. So and again, going back to marketing, so there's going to be a lot of different things that become obsolete. While new things will emerge. I talk all the time about SEO and the search. The search is going to completely change. And Google is quickly trying to keep up with that and do things. They made some moves that didn't people weren't happy with it when they first came out with it. But we know it's going to change. Right now you can still use AI to go in, analyze SEO strategies. You can put in simple prompt, analyze the SEO strategies of our competitors and how we can outrank them. So SEO is still a thing, and you can still do that and still look at that. Look at the pay-per-click, all of those things that go into it. But that's all going to change. You're going to have customized searches. You're going to have AI agents that will be able to do these things for you. You're not even going to have to be involved, and then just come back with the feedback. So companies are going to have to know how to work with that, understand those things. Certainly, the big search engines are going to know how to do that. There's a lot of really good smaller search engines now that are way better than Google. They just don't have the voice out there yet. They don't have the audience, certainly. But as time goes on and we start to see some of these, you're going to see them become more and more relevant. So I have about a minute left here. So if anybody else has any questions, I will be happy to do that. Otherwise, here on Clubhouse, I'm going to turn it over to my good friend Dora Maria out on the West Coast.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, how are you?
How you doing? This is GA. Quick question for you. I really appreciate your segments because I use AI in almost everything that I do.
Awesome.
Any updates on, because I'm actually using the AI algorithms for trading and predictive, not to get into the minutia, but just trades. Let's just say that. And just the market. Any updates that you know of with those?
Yeah, you know what? There are some good, and that's great feedback. You know what? Yeah, and I will. I'll message you. I'll send you some stuff. But next week, I'll go a little more detail into those because I've had more than one person ask me about that and kind of looking at that. And when I talk about those things, I say, hey, I'm not a financial person and don't take my advice. But yeah, there actually has been a lot of updates and a lot of things going on with that to look at algorithms and to see those things. I also think we're in uncharted territory as far as the stock market goes, and there's a lot, it should have crashed a long time ago. So for anything that happens there, I always put an asterisk there. But yes, I will message you and send you some stuff, but I will go into that next week in a little more detail for people. Thank you for the question. Dora Maria, are you there, my friend?
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I am doing good.
Happy July. Happy Q3.
I put Matt's link in the chat for those of you that want to